Good, happy Monday evening. Is Monday, June 12, 2023. I'm Riley King, and welcome to the Riley King Newscast, right here on RK Network. We have a lot of news to get to this Monday evening, so let's get started right now. First up, Lakes Region contractor accused of taking money without doing work arrested in Miami. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9.
Now's the time to get a great deal on select Kubota equipment. Part of the #1.
We have victims who, in many cases, were left out of money with roofs that were still in need of repair.
The Attorney General's office says it began investigating Gerard Healy back in 2016 after it received several complaints from customers who said they signed contracts with him for home improvement projects, paid deposits, but claimed Healy never actually did the work.
The result of that investigation was a civil action. It was called a consent judgment.
The Belknap Superior Court prohibited Healy from accepting any more deposits for the next 10 years. However, the AG's office says Healy continued to do just that and took tens of thousands of dollars between 2021 and 2022.
Our investigation to date, it's still ongoing, has yielded 19 victims, so 19 occasions when he violated that consent judgment, took consumer deposits, did not do any work.
Investigators say Healy eventually left the U.S. and headed to Costa Rica.
In early May, we received word that he was flying back into the United States. He was detained at the Miami airport, arrested there.
Healy pleaded not guilty in Belknap County Superior Court to 19 misdemeanor counts of violating the Consumer Protection Act. He's due back in court next month. And the Attorney General's office says its investigation into Healy's business remains ongoing. Reporting live in Meredith tonight, I'm Tim Callery, WMUR News 9.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Dartmouth Health cutting 75 jobs as pandemic fallout continues. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9.
Bullfrog Spas are the most customizable spas available, and they're available right now at Custom Pools and Spas.
I think every hospital in the state is struggling.
Hospital beds at capacity constantly, a demand never seen in New Hampshire. One reason, patients delayed treatment during the pandemic. Another cause, people waiting to be discharged but can't because the healthcare facility they need doesn't have the staff to care for them. New Hampshire currently is seeing a 15% healthcare job vacancy rate.
Hospitals aren't immune to all of those challenges, and certainly the ongoing labor challenges and costs will continue to be a part of that equation.
A study done in 2022 showed that labor costs were up over 133% because of hiring contracted employees to fill these essential job openings. Contracted employees often make more and only stay a few months. Inflation is also playing a role disrupting a hospital's bottom line. These challenges are part of the reason why Dartmouth Health announced last week it's laying off 75 staff members and not filling 100 open positions. The hospital said the decision was difficult but necessary. Ahen says more layoffs at other hospitals are a possibility as they navigate these rough waters.
Well, there's no question that every hospital is going to have to look at ways to make sure that they can continue to meet the needs of their communities and their patients. Whether we'll see more of that, I think, is unclear.
And he says that despite these challenges, hospitals are here to serve their community. They ask you just bring a little patience with you. We're live in Portsmouth. Kelly O'Brien, WMUR News 9.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Newly passed New Hampshire budget includes initiatives for affordable housing. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9.
It's time to make your backyard your favorite place to be. Experience hours of family fun and relaxation in a new custom-designed pool.
The most visible symptom of New Hampshire's housing crisis is the surge in homelessness, but evidence of the problem is everywhere. The new state budget passed by lawmakers in Concord last week attempts to boost ongoing efforts to add housing and make it more affordable.
If you're not buying or selling a home, you might not feel that right now. But if you just landed a job as a teacher in New Hampshire and you need a place to live in one of our smaller towns, it's a tall order. And I hope what we're doing here will help to facilitate that sort of housing.
The state budget for the next 2 years includes $25 million for affordable housing to subsidize projects large and small. There's another $10 million to keep the Invest NH Housing Fund going as a state program, and $5 million for a new Housing Champion grant program. Municipalities that adopt pro-growth policies can be designated as champions by the state. The reward is identified in the budget as preferential access to state resources. That includes state dollars to repair roads and bridges, the kind of money cities and towns always need. The budget also dedicates $8 million to increase rates paid to homeless shelters and another $2 million in direct aid to those shelters.
And that's why it's so important that we take this all of the above approach, where we are addressing funds to help people who are most vulnerable and most severely impacted by the crisis right now, but also building for the future and investing in development projects that might not come online for 3 or 4 years, but they're going to make a big difference when they do.
Senator Maggie Hassan says in Washington she supports efforts to increase the low-income housing tax credit by 50%. But she believes local planning reforms could produce the most immediate results to get projects moving.
Not wanting to take away local control, but wanting to make sure that it's meeting kind of modern time standards.
Adam Sexton, WMUR, News 9.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. New Hampshire communities looking for lifeguards as pool season begins. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9.
Now's the time to get a great deal on select Kubota equipment. Part of the #1 rated tractor brand for durability and owner experience in the U.S., they offer the versatility and reliability to get the job done right all year round. Right now at participating dealers, get a Kubota compact tractor for 0 down, 0% APR for 84 months.
Chapel Tractor, where you'll notice the difference since
Monica, this pool behind me is one of 6 pools that will open up on Sunday, but the director of Parks and Recreation here in Concord says they're still looking for 5 or 6 more lifeguards before they can open up their 7th pool. Communities across the state have been dealing with seasonal staffing shortages since the pandemic. David Gill with Concord Parks and Rec says they've hired their seasonal parks and cemetery staff, but lifeguards continue to be a challenge. He says lifeguards can work up to 40 hours per week, and they always give employees at least 2 days off in a row. They're looking for people who are already certified, but will also reimburse people who work the season.
If we hire you and you work the season for us, we'll reimburse you the cost. But you do have to take the course up front, pay for it, and then once we hire you, we'll reimburse you at the end of the summer.
And Gil says this is a perfect summer job for high schoolers or college students, but really anyone can apply. You can learn more information by visiting the Concord Parks and Rec website. We're live in Concord. Hannah Cotter, WMUR News 9.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Shooting in Manchester started with car seat exchange, police say. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9.
Now's the time to get a great deal on select Kubota equipment. Part of the
That's right, Amy. That's according to the affidavit. And it started with that car seat. It ended with one man shot in the leg and another man under arrest. Now, the shooting happened about 5:30 Saturday afternoon on Orange Street in Manchester. According to the affidavit, Gil Diaz was coming out of 140 Orange Street carrying a car seat. He had a brief conversation with the victim before police say he pulled out a gun and shot the man in the leg. Surveillance cameras on neighbors' homes help identify Diaz. The affidavit goes on to say that Diaz initially gave police a false name and date of birth, and that while in custody, he reportedly scuffled with police and appeared to be reaching into his right pocket where he had a razor blade. Police eventually determined that Diaz, who he was, based on previous convictions out of Queens. Now, in this case, Diaz faces a total of 7 charges, including first-degree assault and being a felon in possession of a dangerous weapon. Police say the victim in this case is not cooperating. Now, Diaz reserved his right for a hearing, which means it can be held at a later date. For now, however, he remains in jail. Reporting live in Manchester, Ray Brewer, WMUR News 9.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Trump arrives in Florida for a federal arrangement. Let's take a listen to that video from ABC News.
After Advil dual action back pain.
Yo, oh, ha, ha. What? My back feels better.
Before Advil. New Advil dual action back pain fights back pain 2 ways for 8 hours of relief.
When we begin tonight with former President Trump, now in South Florida at this hour, set to answer to federal criminal charges at the federal courthouse in Miami tomorrow. 37 counts. He traveled from Bedminster, New Jersey to Miami today. The indictment alleges among the classified documents were documents on the U.S. nuclear program, U.S. vulnerabilities to attack, how the U.S. would respond. The indictment says Trump suggested at one point his attorney hide or destroy the documents. Trump insists he did nothing wrong. He is still trying to recruit new lawyers to his team tonight after 2 resigned amid the indictment. The former president has asked his supporters to protest tonight. Miami's mayor says they are prepared. And this evening, how this will play out tomorrow. The former president's mugshot, the fingerprints, and tonight what his own former and once very loyal attorney general is now saying. ABC's Rachel Scott leading us off in Miami tonight.
Former President Donald Trump arriving in Miami 1 day before he will turn himself in at the federal courthouse to be arrested and arraigned on a sweeping 37-count indictment. Trump has called on his supporters to protest. In Miami, security preps underway. The city's Republican mayor with this message.
We wanted to ensure to the public that we are ready.
Trump is accused of hoarding classified documents at his Mar-a-Lago resort, containing the nation's most sensitive secrets. Information regarding defense and weapon capabilities of both the United States and foreign countries, United States nuclear programs, potential vulnerabilities of the United States and its allies to military attack, and plans for possible retaliation in response to a foreign attack. Federal prosecutors say Trump knew he was not authorized to keep the documents, but did it anyway, scheming to obstruct the investigation. They say they have him on tape, showing off a Pentagon document outlining a potential plan of attack on Iran, and admitting as president, I could have declassified it, but now I can't.
We did absolutely nothing wrong.
Back on the campaign trail, Trump accusing President Biden of weaponizing the Justice Department.
This vicious persecution is a travesty of justice.
The 49-page indictment charges the former president carelessly stored classified documents throughout his club in stacks of boxes in a ballroom, spilling on the floor in a storage room, even in a bathroom. The indictment accusing Trump of suggesting his attorney falsely represent to the FBI and the grand jury that Trump did not have documents called for by the grand jury subpoena, and that his attorney hide or destroy the documents. At one point, prosecutors say Trump asked his attorney, wouldn't it be better if we just told them we don't have anything here? Trump's once loyal Attorney General Bill Barr calling the conduct described egregious obstruction.
If even half of it is true, then he's toast. I mean, it's a very detailed indictment, and it's very, very damning. And this idea of presenting Trump as a victim here, a victim of a witch hunt, is ridiculous.
And today, one of his rivals for the Republican nomination, his former ambassador to the UN, Nikki Haley, with this pronouncement.
If this indictment is true, if what it says is actually the case, President Trump was incredibly reckless with our national security. More than that, I'm a military spouse. My husband's about to deploy this weekend. This puts all of our military men and women in danger.
A changing and sharpened message from Nikki Haley tonight. Our thanks to Rachel Scott leading us off.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. And we are going to switch gears now, and let's go into weather. And here is meteorologist Kevin Scriba with a weather forecast.
Now's the time to get a great deal on select Kubota equipment. Part of
Looks like another week with some daily shower and storm chances, but it doesn't look like they will be all-day rainfalls at any given point along the way, and temperatures at least this week will be a lot milder than they were with the unsettled pattern last week. Some more shower and storm chances ahead. Clouds will be building today, but it's still warm. Temperatures from the mid-70s to the lower range of the 80s. A round of rain, maybe a couple of thunderstorms will be a possibility overnight tonight and first thing tomorrow morning with a system that you can see there moving through Pennsylvania currently. After that goes by, temperatures will be a bit cooler tomorrow afternoon in the 60s to some lower 70s. Most of the more organized rainfall will be early in the day. And then as that pulls away and we have the cooler afternoon, we start to warm up again. Winds turn back to the southwest as in Wednesday afternoon. Upper level system will move out of the Great Lakes and will spark some showers and storms that will develop during the afternoon and into the evening. A little bit quieter with partial sunshine Thursday and then the chance of a couple of pop-up showers on Friday afternoon. Temperatures again will be in the 70s with that upper level system trying to move away as we work our way into the weekend.
Okay, and there you go on that weather forecast from meteorologist Kevin Scriba, and that is it for this evening edition of the Riley King Newscast right here on RK Network. Thank you for tuning in and watching. Good night and goodbye.